As advertised, episode 11, The Hidden Cost of Rework. Let's get into it. All right, summer is in full swing. Kids are out of school, vacations are getting planned, the calendar's filling up in a different way than usual. And for a lot of founders, summer feels like the season where things quietly start slipping. Deadlines stretch, follow-ups pile up, instructions get repeated, tasks come back wrong, and before you know it, you're spending more time fixing things than moving things forward. That is not a summer challenge. That is a rework challenge, and it doesn't take a vacation to trigger it. It happens every single week in businesses that have not built the right processes underneath their people. Today, we're going to talk about what rework is really costing you and exactly how to stop it. Before we open up the desk, I have a special announcement for all my military veteran and military spouses out there growing a business. I want to take a moment and say thank you. Even though my shirt says I'm a grumpy old vet, I do appreciate everything that you've done, whether you're a military veteran or a military spouse. You both have served this country, and I can't thank you enough. So as a thank you, I've instructed my team to begin offering a 25% discount off our monthly subscriptions. I look forward to connecting with a lot more military veterans, and I look forward to connecting with you. Now, this 25% discount is going to be in perpetuity for the rest of Bottleneck's life. So again, thank you. And let's go ahead and open the desk. All right, welcome back to the Delegation Desk Show. This is the show for founders who are done carrying the weight of every task, every follow-up, and every fix that should have been handled right the first time. My name is Jaime Jay. I'm the CEO and founder of Bottleneck Distant Assistance and the creator of the category Delegation Intelligence. I'm also the author of Quit Repeating Yourself. By the way, you can go to quitrepeatingyourself.com, shameless plug, and learn more about buying my Quit Repeating Yourself book. It's all about systems and processes and how businesses are building their business the right way today in this environment. And today we're talking about one of the most expensive things happening inside your business right now. Not expensive in a way that shows up on your P&L, expensive in a way that drains your energy, slows your momentum, and quietly convinces you that delegation doesn't freaking work. And we're talking about the rework, the task that came back wrong, the instruction you have given times, that follow-up that turned into a second follow-up, that turned into you just doing it yourself. Every founder has been there. Most founders are there right now. And the reason it keeps happening has nothing to do with the people on your team. It has everything to do with the process underneath them. Let's see what landed on the desk today, and we'll jump into that later. Here is what landed on the desk this week. A founder told us she had just let go of her third assistant in 2 years. Each time, the same story. Things started strong, then communication got fuzzy. Tasks came back incomplete. She couldn't get a hold of her. She found herself re-explaining everything, and eventually it felt easier to just do it herself. She said, "I don't think I'm cut out to delegate, and I want to be clear about something. That is one of the most common things founders say. Believe me, I hear it a lot. I've talked to a lot of them over the past couple decades, and it's almost never true." What she was experiencing was not delegation personality challenges. It was a process gap. There was no clear way to hand off work, no standard for what done looks like, no signal when a task was complete, no documentation for recurring workflows. Well, she thought she had a lot documented. Turns out it was old, outdated, and didn't represent her current tech stack. So every task started from scratch. Instruction had to be repeated. Every completion had to be verified by her. And that's an exhausting way to run a business when every decision goes through you, the founder. And it's completely fixable. Rework is not a people challenge, it's a process challenge. When the process is clear, people can follow it. When the process is missing, even great people guess. And guessing creates rework. Every time, that is what today is about. And that's what brings us to the candidate who fixes exactly this. So let's talk about the candidate on the desk. Today's candidate is an AI Fluent executive assistant and admin support specialist. And this role is often the difference between a founder's feeling overwhelmed and a founder feeling in control. Because every growing business reaches a point where there are simply too many moving parts, too many emails, too many meetings, too many follow-ups, and too many priorities competing for attention. This candidate helps create order from that complexity. She has experience in executive and administrative support. Rose has experience in calendar and email management, client communication, and coordination. She also has experience in CRM and database management and project and task coordination. Some of the tools that Rose uses includes HubSpot, Go High Level, Kajabi, Asana, ClickUp, Notion, Google Workspace, Microsoft Office, Zoom, Slack, Microsoft Teams, Canva, CapCut, and AI-assisted productivity tools. But here's what stood out. This candidate understands that great executive support is not about managing tasks. It's about protecting focus, your focus, because every meeting properly scheduled and every client inquiry handled and every project update tracked creates more space for leaders, to focus on growth. What makes candidates valuable is her ability, What makes Rose valuable is her ability to combine traditional executive support with modern AI-powered efficiency. She understands how to stay organized, and she keeps communication flowing, and how to ensure important details do not fall through the cracks. That matters more than most leaders realize, because productivity is not about doing more things. It's about making sure the right things get done consistently. And when a business has someone creating structure, visibility, and accountability behind the scenes, operations run smoother and leaders gain back their time. So let us move that file to the completed stack and go ahead and talk about the meat and potatoes of everything, the delegation download. Let me break down exactly where rework comes from, because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Rework source number one, unclear instructions. When a task is handed off without enough context, the person receiving it fills in the gaps with their best guess. Sometimes the guess is right. Often it's not. And the founder ends up re-explaining, correcting, or redoing. Rework source number two, no completion signal. When there is no clear definition of done, work drifts. The tasks get completed from the assistant's perspective, but not from the founders or other participants participating in that particular task. That gap creates a follow-up, which creates a correction, which creates frustration on both sides or on all sides. Rework source number three, undocumented recurring tasks. When a task happens weekly or monthly, but lives on, or maybe daily too, but only lives in someone's memory, it gets done different every single time. Different order, different format, different level of detail, and the founder has to review and correct every single version. Again, everything running through the founder. Rework source number four, no accountability checkpoint. When there is no built-in moment to confirm a task is on track before it's due, the first time anyone knows that there's a challenge is when the deadline has already been met. Now, here's how you fix all four of those. Name the task clearly. Confirm the instructions before work begins. Set a completion signal so done is never a gray area, and document every recurring task so it runs the same way every single time. That is the 4-step delegation process. I might say that there's a third step in there that I missed that's extremely important. That is to review and approve. So once that task is done, your assistant should schedule a time with you so that you can review and approve the work that they've done in the basic foundational understanding of that particular task is completed according to the name. They've confirmed everything so that you know that they understand. They reviewed and approved it so that they presented it to you so that you can review and approve it. Yes, I have the confidence knowing that now you know how to do that. And step 4, what's the signal? What action needs to occur in order for everybody involved in that particular task to know that it's done? So I don't have to say, where are we at with this, right? So that's the 4-step delegation process at the core of every delegation department. And here's this. When it is in place, rework stops being a daily reality and starts being a rare exception. And I can get that. That's much better. Mistakes are still going to happen, right? It's not like this is the end all be all, but it's drastically going to reduce any immeasurable experience that you might have to go through. So with all of that in mind, hopefully you enjoyed the delegation download section. Let's go ahead and check out the category corner. Delegation intelligence is built on one core belief. Rework is not a people challenge. It is a process challenge. Most companies respond to rework by blaming the person. They retrain, they replace, they micromanage, and the rework keeps happening because the process never changed. Bottleneck does it differently. We don't look at a rework challenge and ask a person who dropped the ball. We ask where the process broke down. Was the instruction unclear? Fix the handoff. Was done never defined? Add a completion signal. Was the task undocumented? Build the workflow manual. Was there no checkpoint? Add a sync. Every rework situation is a process gap wearing a people costume. And that perspective changes everything, because when you stop blaming people and start fixing the process, you stop cycling through team members and you start building something that actually works. That's not just a better way to delegate. It's a completely different way to think about operations. Not better than what others offer, different in a way that changes outcomes. That is what delegation intelligence is. Rework is not a people challenge. It's a process challenge. And before we talk about what's coming across the desk, I really want to tap on something here that I think is really that would probably resonate with you in maybe a little bit different manner. Yes, sometimes the people just don't work out and you have to let them go. You may have heard that saying, hire slow, fire fast, right? That kind of thing. You really got to vet them. You got to make sure they're part of the team. But so often you have an amazing human being that's working with you, and they may not understand exactly what it is that you expect. If you use these processes, if you follow the delegation intelligence framework, the likelihood of that potential drastically reduces. I need you to hear this with the understanding that I know some people are just not good in a particular environment. Fire them. I get that. But you have to look at yourself. And when you go back, did you have a workflow? Did you take the time to train them? I don't have time to train. I just want to hire somebody that is really experienced in this role. I don't care how experienced someone is. If you don't spend some time with the person you're going to be directly working with and with whom is directly reporting to you, if you don't spend time training that person, you've just missed the boat on the luxury of building a relationship with a potentially awesome person in your business. So change the mindset. It's usually not a people challenge, it's a process challenge. So, with that in mind, let's check out what's coming across the desk. Next week, we are getting into something that is going to feel a little uncomfortable for some founders because we're talking about what happens when your business depends entirely on you, not just operationally, emotionally, strategically, structurally. When you are the only one who knows how things work, the business is one bad week away from falling apart. Vacation anxiety, decision bottlenecks, key person risk. These are not small challenges. These are signs that the foundation needs to be rebuilt. So next week, we're going to talk about how we can make yourself less essential without losing control and how to build continuity in your operations so the business keeps moving, whether you're in the office or on a beach somewhere. And we'll also feature a bookkeeper candidate because this is the role that holds the accounts together when the founder steps back. And if you've ever canceled a vacation because you were afraid of what might break while you were gone, well, that episode's going to hit home. The goal is not to be needed everywhere. The goal is to build a business that survives your absence. And next week, we're going to show you exactly how to do that. So let's go ahead and go on to the next section. All right, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. Every time you redo a task someone already did, you are paying for it twice. Once in money, once in energy. And the energy cost is the one that compounds because every time you step back into the work to fix something, you're sending yourself a message. That message is, I can't trust my team. And that message makes it harder to delegate the next time and the time after that, until eventually you stop trying. But here's the truth. The challenge was never your team. The challenge was the process that they were handed. And I'll go one step further. The challenge is you. Because you need to build the process. You need to document the workflow. You need to define what done looks like. You need to create the signal. Do those 4 things and rework stops being the norm. Your team stops guessing, your team stops leaking, and your trust in delegation starts to grow back. That's what delegation departments make possible. We built a free assessment called the Delegation IQ Blueprint. And by the way, we're going to be changing that name in the future, but for now it's called the Delegation IQ Blueprint. But it will be changing in the future. It'll be the same thing with a different name that'll make a lot more sense. And it's going to show you exactly where your process gaps are, what your bottlenecks are, and what it would take to close them for good. You'll find the link below. If this episode helps, subscribe. If you're tired of redoing the work that should have been done right the first time, take the assessment. I promise you, you're going to love it. It'll take maybe 7 minutes. You answer, I think it's 3 to 5 minutes, answer 7 questions, 8 questions, something like that. It's absolutely amazing what it'll do for you. And remember this, stop fixing people. Start fixing the process, build the department, clear the chaos. And now I'm going to hand it over to the one and only Jeff, who's going to bring us home for the episode. And I'll see you again next week. Same desk, same time.
Hi, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that episode because I can feel that our team is like the ones that Jamie is describing in this episode because we are very clear with our roles, with the things that we're doing, with the updates. That's why we have 2 weeks meeting, a 2-day meeting in a week. One of it is the sync. Like a Thursday sync, because we want to update everyone. What are the changes? What's happening in these projects? What are the changes we're doing? So it's a good thing that we are updated because every department is affected with these projects or these changes. Even this delegation desk show, everyone is involved. So, this episode made me think that about how easy it is to blame people when something doesn't get done the way we expected. And I can feel that because this is not my this is not my first job. I've worked with a lot of different companies and all of that, and I know how it feels like if you're blamed because I can say, on my opinion, because of this episode, I then realized that it's not about us, the team that's working. It could be the process. Probably our team didn't create that framework or didn't create that workflow in the process. So something breaks down. It's never been followed by the team. So I've learned that most of the time the real issue is not the person, it's the process. And behind the scenes and all of the things that our team are working, a lot of our roles are making sure that things don't have to be explained over and over and over again. That's why we have workflows, whether it's content production, project coordination, communication, designs, postings, follow-ups, communication, and all of that. The goal there is to create clarity so work can move forward without constant corrections or guesswork. And honestly, that's where a lot of rework comes from. Not bad people, just unclear expectations. So let me ask you, what's one task in your business that seems to come back wrong over and over again? And how much time you think you're spending each week, each day fixing that work that should be done first time? So drop your answers in the comments. Make sure to give your thoughts, give your answers, and we are reading that. And of course, we will be responding back on how we feel whenever you're feeling that as well. And if you're not following us yet, you can see on the screen below our channels. We are in Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. And never ever forget to click that notification bell so you'll be notified of our next episodes and what we have for our upcoming episode. And if you're ready to stop repeating instructions and start building processes that actually stick, head over to bottleneck.online/let's-talk or click the link in the description, the link to our delegation IQ blueprint, to our meeting link, and all our channels link. Everything is in there. So just read through our description and we'll show you how a delegation department helps eliminate rework before it even happens. So thanks for spending your time with us and watching this episode. See you next episode, same desk, same time. Bye for now.